What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, Tribes Podcast. I'm your host, Leo. And today, man, I've been kind of away from doing videos for a little bit, a few months, just because I've been dealing with life. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the things that I shared in my previous videos, like I've said in my previous videos, also, when I talk about these things, they bring about old feelings, old memories, things that I went through while I was in prison. Me myself as me as a person, I don't really have memories as a child from my childhood that are like, about family, about love and caring and things like that. Warm memories. Most of my memories are the struggle. You know what I'm saying? The hardships, uh, a lot of the things that I went through in prison. That I myself put myself through. So don't let this. It's not to blame nobody or anything like that. I take full responsibility for everything that I put myself through. But I want to do this episode, man, because I feel like people, when I say that I did 6 years in the hole in solitary confinement, I mean, how long does that take to say? It takes what, 2 to 3 seconds, but to actually live them every day, man, it's something that's always going to stay with me, and I try my best to not think about that, but I mean it, or like try to. It's hard to explain, man. It's hard to explain because there's not a pill that I could just take and everything just works, right? Everything in my mind, everything's erased, and I'm just a happy-go-lucky guy. A lot of the times, like especially my job, I'm a truck driver, so I'm driving to different towns, I'm going to different stores, I'm meeting different people, and if I'm having a bad day, I can't just take it out on them. You know what I'm saying? I got to suck it up, and I'm sitting in my truck. I got to take a few minutes to gather myself. I get out, I do my job, but once I come back out, it's like it's just right back to I just feel it's a feeling, man, of despair, of just pressure, man, and just all this. I can't really explain the way it feels in there, man, because you got to think, you're in a tiny cell for 23 hours a day most of the week, and you can't, you're not involved in the world the way you are out here, right? You're very isolated, and when with that isolation comes with a lot of it comes with a lot of mind games, man. There's a lot of you can only do so many things throughout the day, working out, reading, doing things of that nature, man, and then you just get exhausted. You're laying there, you're staring at a white wall, and you're just thinking to yourself all the things you've done, and all that stuff starts replaying in your head. You have to get up, you start pacing back and forth, and I did that for 6 years, man. And to be honest with you, I haven't really dealt with all the stuff that I buried internally. All the things that I had to kind of just stow away in my mind in order to survive in prison. But now that I've gone on this journey with you guys and have been more open about about myself and my feelings and things like that, all these things are coming about now. And it's not like I wake up one day and I have a good day. I have my kids. Everything's going. The birds are chirping. Everything's fine. And then it's like, but then that day goes. I'll be bad. I'm not bad, but I'll be in my own mind for the next 3 days. and and I just don't want to be around nobody. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to be around nobody. Um, I get this. Even my brothers, my sisters, like, you need to go out. You need to go socialize and things like that. And I do when it comes to like my kids, man, because for them I'll do anything, and I have to face those fears. It's like, and I don't even know what I'm afraid of. Obviously sometimes when I go to deliver at certain towns, I always have that in the back of my mind. What if I run into a guy that I was with in prison, that I assaulted or that I hurt, or something like that? And so I'm always on my toes. That's always in the back of my mind. There's always that paranoia, and that never goes away. And that's just something that from prison that I carry with me, because it's a dog eat dog world in there. So you always got to be on your toes, and that's how I feel out here. I carried that with me out here. So all those things that I did in prison, the assaults I committed, and things like that, the things that I thought uh, were earning me this respect, earning me these stripes, was actually the things that came back and are haunting me. Not haunting me like in my dreams and nightmares, which I'll get to that later on. But I do have dreams and nightmares. I have a lot of nightmares when I'm having those bad days, and it goes from it goes from certain nightmares where I'm stuck in a prison, and I hear my daughter calling me and I can't find her, and I'm running around through the whole prison, and it's very intense, man. And I'm sorry I got off topic there, but it's hard to put into words. So I'll be bouncing back and forth, and that's how I feel in my mind, in my head. I'm going back and forth. Am I doing things right? Am I not? Um, I was even gonna stop doing YouTube videos because I go back and I rewatch my videos when I'm driving, and while I'm listening to them, I'm reliving it, and those same feelings come over me, and like it's sometimes and it's not just one feeling, it's a lot of feelings. It's anger, it's sadness, it's pain, it's I sometimes I just want to be violent, you know what I'm saying? It's like something I need to get out of me, and it's very hard to deal with. And I believe that's why some people, they can't get up every day, and me, excuse me, but me, I know deep down inside I've already accepted the fact that for me this life is going to be an everyday battle. I'm gonna have to get up every day, and if I'm having a bad day, I have to put on this show, or I have to put on this mask and go out there into the real world, and do what I have to do in order to protect my family and provide for my family. And sometimes it gets hard, man. Sometimes because people don't understand, if they and I get it. If you ain't gone through the experience that I've gone through, and I know a lot of people have, and even worse, there's sometimes, and it's not that they don't get it, because I also believe that, just because you didn't go through that doesn't mean that you don't know what I'm going through. It's just very hard to explain, man. But I do believe that, that's why I did this video on this topic, because you don't necessarily need to go to the hole to feel isolated. You could be in a room full of people and feel alone. And sometimes I feel that way. Um, you know, I'm not a big religious person, excuse me, but I was gonna stop doing these videos, right? And right when I started thinking about, I'm just gonna stop doing my videos. I put my story out there, right when I started thinking that, right? I don't know if it was God or something, right? There's a lady, and she works at a Safeway. She's a receiver there, and I go deliver that. I've known her for like 2 to 3 years during my route that we've gone there to that town, and she comes up to me, and I have a tattoo on one of the sides of my head. I have a tattoo that's prison bars that goes from here back, and that's always I got that because it's a reminder to me of how locked up my mind used to be, and how locked up it might still be. Well, she inquired about that tattoo, which led me to tell her my story, how unfortunately I got locked up at 16, and she stood there and she stared at me with this look, man, of just I wouldn't say admiration, but she was just disbelief of what I had gone through and where I'm at in my life now. Because to me, I'm like, oh, but to somebody that hears that story and they're like, holy shit, and you're here now doing this, and you're respectful, you're a good human being, and you know, and she told me, so I showed up there. I told my whole story, right? She gives me a hug. We're in the back, and it's a big company, so there's all kinds of different vendors and her coworkers, but it was like just me and her there at the moment. She's an older lady, an older white lady. She's about 50, and she has tears in her eyes, and she's like, oh my God, she was just so flabbergasted. She gave me a hug, and she's just like, I'm so proud of you. You know what I'm saying? And so I start working there because I have to work out the merchandise. And she comes back up to me maybe 15 minutes later, and she's like, hey, Leo, can I talk to you? And I'm like, yeah, what's going on? She's like, there's a reason why we had this conversation today. Why are you telling me this? How you did 10 years, you've been out 10 years. She told me, well, I beat breast cancer. 10 years ago, I defeated breast cancer, and my husband of 30 years divorced me. And once he divorced me, my daughter quit talking to me for 10 years. And I can't even imagine that, man. I'll go do the rest of my life in prison, but I cannot imagine my daughter not talking to me for the rest of my life while she's still here on this earth. And I seen the pain in her eyes, and she told me like this, man. She said, I haven't talked to my daughter in 10 years, and if I can't be proud of my daughter, you know, I want my mom heart goes out to you, and I'm so proud of you. And man, that meant so much to me, man. Because even from my own family or my mother, uh, for her to tell me that she's proud of me is very hard, man. It's just words I don't hear often. And when she told me that, I was like, okay, man, I got to do these videos. I got to keep going. This is helping people. Or, another young man from another town that I delivered to, he came up to me. He's like, man, I watched all your videos from beginning to end, from the first episode to the last. And that's why I'm like, man, there's something telling me, man, that I got to keep going. I got to keep spreading this message of not never giving up and always having hope, uh, you know. And I get a little emotional about it, man, because and especially in this world that we live in nowadays, man, people don't care, man. People are just like, hey, whatever you got going on, it's like, man, I'm sorry, but as long as it's you and it's not me, I'm not one of those type of people, man. And especially during this journey that I'm going through with you guys, because I don't know where this journey is going to lead me. I'm on this journey with you guys. This is my therapy, and I'm slowly figuring things out about myself. And that's the message, man. Is just don't ever give up. And sometimes you gotta face those battles in the hopes that one day, and maybe we won't. Maybe I have to fight every day. Maybe I have to get up, but maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe if I didn't have that fight to fight, I would just go and I would just run wild, and I would lose my place in this life and what I'm trying to do with my life. So yeah, man, it gets very hard dealing with those things. With trusting people, with believing in people, spending all that time in the hole. It made me see me who I really am, and as somebody that I didn't like. All those problems that I ran away from when I was a young kid, and I buried them internally. Speaking on them through my journey here with you guys, it brings it all back. Some days I just want to be alone. I just want to be in my room, and sometimes maybe I don't know if it's the pressure or not. I don't know. I'm not a I'm not a doctor or nothing like that, but I know that my best prescription, my best medicine is my kids, my girlfriend, my friends, people that I have in my life. This journey that I'm having with you guys, it means a lot to me. I just wanted to put it out there, man. It's hard, man. It's very hard to. Everybody's dealing with things, man, and for us, I like to take time sometimes and help people that they might not. I don't might not even necessarily know them, but I know what it feels like to be lost. I know what it feels like to try to find yourself, or to even suppress who you are to please other people. I did that for many years, man, and throughout that process, I lost myself. I lost pieces of myself throughout my whole life that I'm never gonna get back. And what I those pieces that I'm missing are the pieces that I'm trying to figure out, like, what can I do to necessarily gain them back, or kind of maybe fit another piece into this puzzle, this life of mine. But and another thing that I want to share with you guys is that I'm in contact now with a couple principals from schools, where I can go talk about this topic, and talk about my life, and what I went through in my life. Um, and that's the thing, man. I tell the principals all the time. I'm like, look, there's a certain age group, that you got to get these kids, and you gotta, and especially, and it's not only age groups, man, because every kid is different. Every kid is going through something different in their household, and it's up to us to kind of figure out which kid needs the most, not attention, but the most counseling, I guess, or the most being there for them, or what have you. But yeah, man, this is the episode I wanted to do this on, and I don't know if it's PTSD, because a lot when you're in that hole, um, it doesn't matter what happens, man. It doesn't matter if your mom dies, your dad dies, your brother, your sister dies. You're stuck in there, man. You're stuck in that little tiny hole with all these thoughts going, and you're pacing back and forth, and it can happen every single day. The guards, they'll take your yard from you, and that's the only little piece of freedom that you have, if you want to call it that. And I ate like an animal when I was in the hole. When I was in the hole, man, we used to get these envelopes. Excuse me, but I got this piece of paper here. The envelopes like this, right? And I wouldn't eat a lot of the stuff in there. So, and there's like maybe a little tiny slit underneath the cell doors. One of my neighbors, he would take his envelope, put like potatoes in there, and smash them all up to where it'll fit underneath the door and shoot it to me, because I didn't eat a lot of the stuff in there. And those things just remind me, man, of how hard I had. And those are one of the things that I use, like when I'm having this battle within myself. I just remind myself of those times, you know. Um, but I can't lie here and say, man, that obviously it affected me. And I didn't know it affected me doing all that time in the hole until I got away from that lifestyle, and I started opening my heart to people, and I started opening my heart to myself. Because it took a long time for me to even start respecting myself. All those things I was doing, as far as even on the streets, all the crimes I was committed, sleeping around and doing all this crazy stuff. I didn't respect myself. I didn't love myself, and I'm beginning to, and it's a hard process once. I didn't care about my life for so long. I didn't care about anything for so long, and it's hard for me to, and everybody that knows me, they're like, man, I'm always cracking jokes. I'm always on the go. I'm always, but when I get away from them, that's when I get back into myself, and I start second guessing myself. I start having those self doubts, all these insecurities, And I just wanted to share this with people just so they know that, hey, it's every day, man, every day, and I'm here for you. If you guys ever want to reach out to me, I'm here, and you can reach me. You can DM me on my Instagram page, Try This Adult Podcast. And yeah, man, I just wanted to share this little story with you guys. And from now on, I'm actually going to document the whole process of me going to the schools and speaking to the principals and things like that. Especially now, man, I feels like it's the best time for me. And I'm dealing with these things, and I've been dealing with them. It's not something that's new. It's something that I'm just starting to realize that it's a byproduct of all the things that I used to do. Um, and I don't know, like I said, I'm not religious, man. So, I got away from God for a really long time, especially after my father died. I got away from God for a really long time. And when I really think about it, ever since I did that, my life was just chaos. And then when I started getting back, and it's, actually, when I started thinking about God again and things like that, I was when I started sharing the story with you guys. And and every time I drive, every time I'm driving hours on end, I look up at the sky, and I just have this feeling, man. I have a feeling of warmth, of being embraced by something, and telling me to keep going. You know what I'm saying? Because there is a lot of days, man, where it's like, yeah, yeah, man, it's hard. It's but yeah, with the love for my kids and my family, and now that I'm going back on this relationship with God, and I'm trying to do what's best, and I'm trying to do what's right. I feel like this is the time that I needed to share this story with you guys, and how living that life, and not, like I said, not it doesn't even have to be prison, man. It could be just a street life, and when you decide to leave that, and you see things you have a paradigm shift, and you start seeing things completely different than what you used to. You those demons come back, man. But they're not unbeatable, and you always got to remember that it's just something that you got to have up here, man, and you got to reach out to people that they're gonna be there for you with good advice, and actually care, man. Because you can feel it when people actually care. You get that feeling of, just like I do, like I said, when I feel embraced by God or whatever. So yeah, man, I hope you guys like this episode, man, and not to cut it off, but yeah, I'm doing this episode right. I'm doing this right before I go to work. I didn't want to go to work with all these things on my mind, and I just wanted to share this with you guys, and just to let you guys know, man, that there's always hope, and just don't ever give up, man. Like I said, you guys ever want to reach out to me, you guys know how to get a hold of me, and I hope you guys have a great day, man. I'm out.